Welcome, Voice of Africa, the platform where the stories of our continent are told with truth, pride, and purpose. Before we begin, take a moment to invite your friends, your family, and everyone who loves Africa. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this broadcast. Together, we are building one movement, one continent, one voice, united in the pursuit of progress and unity. Tonight, we journey to Burkina Faso, a nation whose story is now one of resilience, strength, and strategic transformation. Since taking office in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has led a historic revitalization of the country's armed forces, initiating reforms that are reshaping the military landscape, investing hundreds of billions of CFA francs, and reinforcing the nation's fight against terrorism. From massive recruitment drives to acquiring cutting-edge equipment, Burkina Faso is showing the world that sovereignty and territorial integrity are not abstract concepts. They are fought for, defended, and achieved with courage, discipline, and unity. Tonight, we examine how a nation can rise from the shadows of insecurity to reclaim its destiny, and what lessons this holds for the rest of Africa.
Remember that we live in a world of predation. To have peace, you must wage war. So wage war.
And the war is being waged from north to south and from east to west, hunting down armed terrorist groups. There's no more waiting. We must make contact, even engage in hand-to-hand combat with the enemy. The objective, to wage a relentless fight against the terrorists, with the ultimate goal of restoring the integrity of the territory. To achieve this, the Supreme Commander of the National Armed Forces is increasing the allocations. In January 2024, as part of the Strategic Equipment Plan, a batch of equipment was delivered to the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs. This batch consists of vehicles, combat weapons, and ammunition. In April 2024, another batch of military equipment was handed over to the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. In June 2024, a new arrival of military and engineering equipment, acquired mainly thanks to the contributions of the population to the Patriotic Support Fund. On December 23, 2024, yet another donation from the President of Faso to his army.
I am therefore officially handing over to you the keys to these logistical and combat vehicles. Consider this as an end-of-year gift. So make way for the army and intensify the war as expected. Thank you for what has been done.
On October 10, 2025, the President of Faso is once again on the ground for another handover of military equipment. It is a batch of heavy combat equipment. The Air Force has also received its share of equipment reinforcements. Combat helicopters and troop transport helicopters were acquired in 2024. In addition to what was already available, it also obtained a dozen state-of-the-art armed Akenzi drones capable of striking at any time and in any place, even in bad weather, designed by a Turkish instructor.
This is the kind of partnership we need, healthy and sincere. And in any case, so far, everything is going very well.
Alongside the acquisition of combat aircraft, intelligence equipment, and various types of aerial vehicles, the country is also reorganizing its military structure to respond effectively to the terrorist threat, with the creation, as early as November 2022, of 6 military regions, 6 gendarmerie legions, and 6 force groups, compared to 3 in the past. The reorganization also includes the recruitment operation of more than 50,000 VDPs launched in October 2022, and the creation of 6 BIs, which have now grown to around 30 rapid intervention brigades. Meanwhile, the ranks are being reinforced. For the year 2024 alone, more than 15,000 fighters have been recruited. But in the fight to restore territorial integrity, we must count on the volunteers for the defense of the homeland, VDP, and the security forces, the National Gendarmerie, the National Police, the Penitentiary Security Guard, and EUFORA. In short, all armed forces are involved in the war to reclaim the territory. The provision of weaponry and the extensive coverage of the territory have made it possible to launch several operations to restore the country's territorial integrity.
As we conclude this broadcast, let us reflect on what Burkina Faso's journey teaches us, not just about military strategy, but about leadership, unity, and national resilience. What is unfolding in Burkina Faso is more than a fight against terrorism. It is a demonstration of how a nation can reclaim its sovereignty and inspire a continent. Since September 2022, decisive leadership has transformed the armed forces. Modern equipment, from drones to combat helicopters, paired with structural reforms and the recruitment of tens of thousands of volunteers, has allowed Burkina Faso to reclaim over 72% of its territory and restore hope to displaced communities. The success of operations such as FAO, Capitu, Kifali, and Tourbillon Vert highlights the power of strategy, coordination, and citizen involvement. Equally important is the role of the people. Over 50,000 volunteers have joined alongside the army, gendarmerie, police, and forest guards, proving that security is a collective responsibility. African nations can learn from this model. When citizens feel ownership of their country's destiny, resilience multiplies and victories become sustainable. Burkina Faso also demonstrates the value of self-reliance and smart partnerships. Investments funded partly through patriotic contributions, alongside modern equipment acquired through international cooperation, show that African nations can strengthen their sovereignty without overdependence on external powers. This story is not only about military victories, it is about national pride, unity, and empowerment. It shows that strategic leadership, technological innovation, and citizen participation can transform challenges into lasting progress. Burkina Faso's journey reminds the continent that Africa's solutions must come from Africa itself, guided by vision, courage, and collective effort. As we close, remember, this is not just one nation's story. It is a lesson for all of Africa. When leadership aligns with citizen engagement, strategy meets execution, and unity drives action, no challenge is insurmountable. Let us continue to support African solutions, celebrate our victories, and work together to build a continent that is strong, independent, and proudly African. What lessons can your country learn from Burkina Faso's transformation? How can unity and self-reliance strengthen Africa's security and development? Let us reflect on these questions and continue building a continent that rises together. One voice, one people, one Africa. Thank you for joining this broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Together, we amplify the voice of Africa and strengthen the movement for a united, empowered continent.